We're headed to the phone. Camilla Gray Nelson is on the line with us, the Dog Talk Diva. Camilla, good morning.
Good morning, Don.
Thanks a lot for being here with me this morning. We've got, this is going to be interesting here. When I saw the information that Hilda, our producer, had put together some things there, she said that you're the authority of helping women manage the family dog. Now, I will agree. I'll confess that the dogs that we've had, me and my wife, Sandy, has put together most of the, she is doing the structuring, and she's motivating, and she's teaching the dogs things. But us men, we just can't do it, can we?
Well, you can, because you've got all the natural capabilities. But, you know, in 74%, like 3 out of 4 households, just like Sandy and you, the woman's in charge of the dog. Now, many times, however, they have a hard time controlling the dog, and there's some very real natural reasons for that, and that's where I step in and I empower women and try to channel their inner dog trainer and their inner leader.
So when the dog is barking, is that why I say to her, do something about your dog?
That's exactly right. Oh, your house too.
Yeah, my house too. Yeah, exactly. That's heard quite a bit. Let's get a little background on you. If people are unfamiliar with you, you've been training dogs for over 20 years, right?
I have.
Yeah.
I've been on the farm that I was raised on here, and we do have farms in California, by the way.
Good.
And I live on one. And I have been training dogs for over 20 years. Started out in obedience competition like everybody else, and then quickly moved into breeding and training and giving obedience classes to my students. But now my specialty really is just helping people with a family dog get control of that animal so he doesn't knock over grandma, steal the pie off the counter, you know, that kind of thing, and teaching people about what it takes to get your dog obedient to you and not just trained, because they're not the same. Okay,
let's find some topics here. Maybe not necessarily eating the pie off the table is your number one complaint you hear from people, but what is the one or two complaints that people are saying to you, hey, my dog doesn't do this, can you help me out?
Oh, yeah. There's 2 of them.
Oh.
Well, 3 of them.
Okay.
Jumping on me and the guests, pulling me down the street on the leash, and not coming when he's called. Those are my holy trinity of dog complaints.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start with Rover. Rover is jumping up on you. What do we do?
Well, that's one of the things. If you can disallow the jumping, you have actually scored a huge leadership point, because in the dog world, jumping is a ranking ritual, meaning if you allow yourself to be jumped on, you are subordinate. If you are the jumper and you are successful at it, you are the dominant of the 2 of you, and therefore can direct and control the other behavior. So stop your dog from jumping on you. And what I do is I just take a little hint from Mother Nature herself. The dog that doesn't want to be jumped on will bark. I can't bark, but I can put 10, 15 pennies in a little tin can, and it sounds like this. Do you hear that? Right in front of the dog as he's jumping, and I stay very cool and calm. That's the most important thing. And I simply say, off, Rover. And he will stop jumping, look up at me and go, oh, you must be the boss. And there's no more jumping. But the calm is the key part.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing with that. Staying calm, yelling is probably not going to get you anywhere with the dog.
It's not. Yeah. Do you want to know why? I'll tell you why.
Yes, please.
Because in the natural world, in the dog's world, the leader in the large group is not the bully, it's not the barker, it's not the lunger. It's the quiet dog that simply is focused, gets the job done, disallows behaviors efficiently and quietly, but never gets flustered. So when we get flustered, and yelling is a sign that we're just like out of control. Well, we're out of control. The dog takes control, and it just gets worse. So quiet is a sign of leadership in people too, by the way.
So if you got more than one dog, 2, 3, 4 dogs, that main one, the alpha dog, if you will, if he's under control, the rest will kind of follow suit a little bit?
Well, he will keep the other dogs under what he considers control.
Okay.
It's all about him, you know, him and his rules.
Yeah, yeah.
But you need to be the bigger fish in that pond and say, but I control all of you.
Okay.
Kiss, kiss, love, love.
All right. Now, we're getting drugged down the street by Brutus here. How do we stop that?
Well, the easiest thing is there's many ways to disallow pulling. You want to work with a trainer in your area who knows how to do that. But whatever it takes, equipment-wise, collar-wise, leash-wise, you want the dog only to be allowed slightly behind you, slightly behind, maybe his toes behind your toes. By doing that, you are saying in dog language, I lead this pack. I don't allow you to pass me. Because that's what dogs do on their own, in their own culture.
Okay.
It's very literal. Leader of the pack is actually quite literal.
All right. How about, I've heard either side, left or right side, is there a recommended side?
You know, left is traditional.
Mm-hmm.
But the dog doesn't care
okay.
as long as he's behind you. But the left side really originated when we first started using dogs for hunting, 100 plus years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And most men, hunters, were right-handed, and they carried their rifles in their right hand, and they loved their dogs.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Right on the left.
Yeah, exactly. Makes sense on that. All right, we know we've talked about jumping and leash walking. What was the third one?
Not coming when called.
Oh, yeah.
Never experienced
Oh, yeah. So what do we do here? Peanut's not coming. That was one of the things we had. We got a long-haired dachshund, and boy, she's got a mind of her own. She finally is getting to the point. Yeah, she's finally getting to the point where she will come. But for a long time, she just looked at us like, I don't think so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because dogs this is a complex thing. People think it's easy, but it's quite complex. Dogs are results-driven, meaning they're only going to do what pleases them. Dogs don't want to please you, sorry to say, but they want to please themselves. So you must make the result of whatever behavior you're asking for worth it to the dog. The one command where I will use a treat, and the only command, actually, that I'll use a treat, is on that recall or that come command. You also don't want to ask while you're in this training mode and getting them solid without the ability to make it happen. That's just foolishness. So practice with a long cord attached. If they don't come, give a little pop on the cord, bring them to you. Do not yell when they get there. Say, welcome home, Peanut, and then have lots of treats. So the dog goes, oh, well, I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
And don't yell and try to guilt your dog into coming because they don't have a conscience. And they're looking at you going, I don't think that's going to turn out so good for me over there.
Right.
And then if they get there and you scold them, they go, clearly that's not what he wanted.
Yeah.
It's complicated. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
It's complicated, but it's not. Yeah.
Right. You do a lot of great things for dogs. Any of these lessons in leadership limited to just dogs?
Well, you know the answer to that question. Of course not.
No.
If you really step back and you look at the lessons in leadership that we can learn from the animal world in general, which is really where I learned everything. It's from our cows, our horses, our dogs. The leaders in each of those groups have common qualities. So if you want your dogs to take you more seriously, your employees to take you more seriously, your kids to take you more seriously, act like the leader that we're all looking for. Calm, consistent, following through on the rules, and full of praise for jobs well done.
Well, I appreciate you spending time with me this morning here. I want the listeners to know more information about you. Please drive them to the website. DogTalkDiva.com. How easy is that? It's a wonderful training blog. You can ask questions. Contact me for phone consultations. I do phone consults across the country. About whatever dog problem you got, I'll give you some advice. I appreciate you taking the time. It's great talking with you, and maybe sometime later in the year, next year or something, we'll follow up. And when Chuck's back, he's got dogs too. He'll be wanting some of this information as well. There you go. It's a plan. All right. Thanks a lot to Camilla Gray Nelson. And DogTalkDiva.com is where you can find more. Thanks, Camilla. My pleasure. Thanks, Don. Thanks a lot. KMA time, 8:56.